Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Lead with Giants TV. We're here on the second segment with Kimunya Mugo. Did I pronounce your last name or your first name and last name correctly? I should ask.
The first one is you're spot on, Kimunya, and
Kimunya
Mugo,
Mugo.
M-U-G-O, Mugo. Yeah,
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for joining us here. Some of you will catch this broadcast and whenever you want to on your own leisure time here. And Kimunya is a book author here of Down But Not Out, Becoming a Significant Leader at Home. Joining me in co-hosting this TV show here is Liz and Sally. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back for segment two.
All right. Well, Kimunya, I want to ask you about something that you do at home. I kind of marked this page here about the Kimunya Creed. Tell us about that a little bit. I know this is part of your family. It's almost like a picture, if you will, a frame of what you guys live. So tell us about that.
exactly. It's an interesting development. This is something that we had talked about with my wife for quite a while, and it was embedded in our minds. But one day, I came home from work and I found this big chart that had been placed on our staircase landing, and it was a Kimunya crate, and I was pretty happy to see it up there, to be honest. And that's purely credit to my wife. She's the one who put it up. But there was some reasoning behind it, and we had been talking about, that's my wife and I, what do we stand for as a family, and this is basically what drives or guides our values as a family. And we needed to help our children to start understanding what we stand for. And she decided to put this up, and it worked really well. For example, the first one is that we are one, we are a family. We need to show unity at all times. We stand for each other, we defend each other, we support each other. That's teaching, learning, making time for each other. So it was really a way to cement us as a unit, as a brand, and also to help the children realize who Akimunya is. And for us, when it comes to discipline issues with our children, and maybe we're out in a restaurant or visiting, and they decide to go off the rails or off track, we'll just ask them a simple question: are you a Kimunya? And immediately they go back to the creed and look at what they're doing at that point and realize they are violating a value that is critical to our existence as a family. So it's actually beyond just the creed. It's our value system as a family.
It's how you live your life in the way, yeah. So that's very
Exactly.
good. Talk to us about the Lead with Giants community. How did you get involved, and what's you've built a lot of relationships here, as well as that's how I connected with you, and I know Liz is connected with everybody else too. But tell us about how that came about. How do you feel about the community involvement with leadership?
It's a pretty awesome community in the sense that there's a lot of genuine vibes going on in the community, and the sharing, the learning, and growing together. I think that is something that was really attracted me to the community and kept me, on board. Even those times when I'm tired and I'm just like, I'm just done. I'm tired of social media now. I just need a rest. But every time I go in there, I pick up a nugget that helped me either to think through my own life or to think how I can help somebody else or how I can inspire a group. So it's really been an awesome continuous learning process for me.
That's great. And I know you're connected with different people, and you're doing a lot of things now in your own personal life, coaching and things like that. But what shaped your leadership philosophy?
It's shaped from the heart and from the faith that I hold. I think that is really, really important to me. And my faith in God also helps me to really appreciate people and to see that there's more than just me. It helps me to stop and think about what I have and what others don't have, and how much I can add value to others. So that really helps me stay focused. And actually, some time back, my wife and I said, we're going to, at one point, we will cap, our income, and if we get any income beyond that, it's just going to go somewhere else, because it just doesn't make sense for me to accumulate, a lot of resources, and at the same time, my perimeter fence is going higher and higher because I'm worried about my neighbor who might come in and.
Right.
So
right.
it's from the heart going out.
It's very nice, very nice. Let me turn it over to Liz, see if she's got any questions for you.
I'm wondering if you could maybe give one or two pieces of advice for those who may not be setting the leadership example that they know they should, and they really want to kind of turn that around and start setting a good example as a leader. Do you have some advice of where they might start or how they might look at that and evaluate where they are?
I definitely do. One is to, first of all, accept that there's a problem. You have to accept. If you don't accept that there's a problem in you, then it doesn't matter how many dollars you pay for courses and everything, nothing's going to happen. The next step is to tether yourself to somebody who you're going to be accountable to. Somebody who is preferably outside your family setting. I just got into an accountability with a friend that I've now known for about 2.5 years, and we're meeting every week, and that is really helpful. It keeps me on the straight and narrow, knowing that somebody else is watching my back. The third thing is just to have thirst and hunger to learn, and be open. And one of the things that I realized is that even as I was writing my book and engaging with others, is that yes, we talk about visions, but we have no idea about, or we are a bit lost on how the vision should work. What props up the vision? It's the values that you hold. What determines the kind of job, the kind of environment, or the kind of community you live in? It's your values. And the moment you actually get to crystallize your value system and have a very clear vision, everything else starts falling in place, including the typical things like forgiveness, saying sorry, serving forward, or serving your community, and stuff like that.
Kimunya, I want to ask you a question about the culture. How does the culture in Kenya, as far as leadership, is it different in respect to some of the experiences you might have had with people in communicating in social media, with some of the culture that you are with every day? Is there a difference?
Actually, it's just that the context is different, or the situations are different. But the core thinking behind leadership, what I've experienced so far, is that it's very similar.
Very similar.
Leadership is misconstrued to be a position, as
Right.
opposed to, what drives you.
Right. Right.
So I'd say they're positional leaders, and those are who you have hanging around, quite a bit of them. And the moment they step out of that position, then they don't have any influence over anybody. In fact, sometimes people just are happy that they are out of the way.
And tell us what you're working on right now. You started getting into coaching and things like that. Tell us a little bit about your journey that you're taking right now.
Yeah, that's another interesting one. I've always said that I've never been a coach, but then it hit us that we've been volunteering parenting coaches for the last six or so years. And it's interesting the way we sometimes have silos in our lives. So the parenting thing is a coaching thing that just happens. That doesn't come into leadership. But I actually realized they intermesh. And so right now I'm actually developing, or just in the final stages of developing my new leadership coaching program. It's big, scary, very, very scary. And I also had the opportunity, my wife and I had an opportunity to get into a place where we can actually develop an app that is going to accompany the coaching program. So it's totally uncharted waters, but we are looking forward to that experience.
That's great, and good luck to you with all these things, initiatives that you're working on. And I know that I really highly recommend your book to a lot of different people. It doesn't really matter if you are in a leadership position or not. This is something that's very helpful to really kind of get a glimpse of somebody's life, how they make a difference in their really something close to home. I think that great leaders are also a role model to their children, and that is very important. So, Kimunya, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I know early morning at your your site there. So we really appreciate it. I know from the community standpoint, a lot of people wanted to watch this interview, so we'll post that in the community as well, and Facebook and all that social beast. So thank you again, and Liz, thank you so much for joining us as well.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right. Well, good night, everybody, and you can catch us again. We are having a couple of shows that are coming up soon, so we'll keep you guys posted. Thank you.